Welcome to the Masterclass Series in Health, Physical, and Driver Education. This Masterclass Series recognizes the immense responsibility you carry as an educator. This series of videos are presented by your peers, fellow educators who are passionate about sharing their knowledge and experiences with you.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Julie Ballowe. I have been asked to give you this presentation that we shared at the Vedettes Conference in July of 2024. Okay. We developed a pre-drive checklist. If you go to this QR code, it will take you to a pre-drive checklist. Okay. So you all have seen the pre-drive checklist. And now here's a video of Tim showing how to do that pre-drive inspection with his students.
Folks, today we're going to talk about the pre-drive inspection. I start off giving the students the keys, instruct them to hold the keys fob in their hand, and also tell them to take their thumb and place it on the panic button. You then got to notice how your car was previously parked. Here it's in a parking lot. So what we're going to do is, remember, we're going to teach them to walk and enter the car from the rear of the car. So I always start the pre-drive inspection then from the front corner. So remember, we're going to start right up here. We're going to notice that the tires look in good working order. They're not deflated. I'm also scanning down the car to make sure there's no damage to it that might have happened in the parking lot. It is important that if there is any damage, that the student then would call their mom or dad and then instruct the car insurance before driving away. Up here, as I look around the front, we're going to notice the lenses on the lights, the license plate, and any fluid that might have come out. Please remember, rocks do break windshields and they can crack the plastic lenses. If you have a cracked lens, student needs to be informed that they do need to get that looked at because the moisture can get inside and can blow the halogen bulbs. As we move back around here, I'm then going to notice down this side, no damage. Right here, tires look in good working order. You do need to instruct them about the mirrors. Now, I'm not going through the specifics about the mirror itself, but the mirror does have a spring to it where if it's bumped, it can be knocked out of place. So I do make sure that they do look for that the mirror is straight. I'm then going to walk down towards the rear. While you're here in the rear, because we are going to have to back out of the spot, this is when you got to notice, is there any obstructions behind the car? The parking lot looks good in the manner in which we got to reverse out. Lights are not cracked or damaged. License plate is still intact. So now we're going to come up here. We're going to get ready to approach the car. We're going to unlock it. We're going to open it from the rear, control the door swing, and then we're going to enter the car.
Okay, so that's just the first video with Coach Finn about the pre-drive inspection. This is something you can show your students. This is just something you can take a look at and you can come back and reference it, okay? All right, so day one, when you're getting in the car with the kids and you're getting ready to drive, there's some things you need to go over, and this is a list of those things. Make sure the students know how to use the door locks. It's important to lock the doors once they get in the car. The students need to understand that once they get in the car, they need to lock their doors so that no one will enter the car without their permission, okay? It's a way to keep them from getting carjacked. You're going to talk about the ignition. Is it a push start or is it a key? Like I said earlier, a lot of these kids do not know how to use a key because most newer cars have a push start. So if you have a key, just make sure you are showing the students what the accessory click is, and as they move forward, make sure they understand to turn the car and then let the key go. You're going to go over seat adjustments for your car, steering wheel and pedal adjustments if available in your car. The head restraint needs to be adjusted so that it will help the students during a crash. Make sure you have discussed with the students the difference between a head restraint and a head rest. These are head restraints. They are incorrectly called head rests. Make sure all passengers are buckled. Go over mirror adjustments. The rear view mirror, the exterior mirror should be set to the BGE, the blind glare elimination method. Talk about dashboard lights, and if they don't turn off, what does that mean? And how they should all turn off. Make sure your kids know how to use a turn signal lever. So many do not. They take their whole hand off of the wheel, they grab it with their whole hand, and they move it very violently up and down. This usually causes all kinds of confusion. So make sure they know how to use the turn signal levers, the windshield wipers, the headlights. Talk about day runners. Talk about whether you want it on and off or on auto. Make sure the students can locate the hazard button in case you need it. Sometimes it's tricky to find. Comfort controls. I think it's super important to make sure your student is comfortable in the car. You don't want them to be too cold. You do not want them to be too hot. If they have a coat on and they're getting too hot, they need to take that coat off before you get started. If they're freezing, of course, you might want to leave that coat on and bump the heat up. I always make sure my student is comfortable in the car. If they are more comfortable, then they're going to be a little less nervous, and the nerves are going to take control of them, whether we like it or not. So adjust that AC or heat and help the student to be comfortable. Radio controls. This is completely up to you. Personally, I let my students, I have the radio on very quiet in the background. For some students, it's a calming effect. For some students, it's not a calming effect, particularly those students who may or may not be on the autism spectrum. I had one student get in my car and he did not want to hear anything in the background. It really distracted him in his form of autism. So the radio was off that day. But the majority of my students like to have the radio on in the background on an appropriate station that doesn't have any language that we will not appreciate. And just play it very quietly. It will also help them to get used to having a radio on in their car. Okay? Turning right on red. Students need to understand that this is a law and they need to do it because other drivers get super upset when we're just sitting at a red light and not making that right on red. Okay? The student needs to pay attention when they get to a right on red. They need to pay attention to the traffic and not the instructor when they get there. When are they not allowed to turn right on red? When there's a sign prohibiting it and when traffic is approaching, when you have not stopped, okay? I will intentionally take my students to a corner where there's a no turn on red sign. I will get them to that red light and I'll say, okay, let's turn right on red, and I see what they do. Of course, my foot is ready. If they start to turn on red, my foot's on the brake and I say, hey, can we really turn on red here? I just tricked you. Make sure you're paying attention. You're the driver. You're in charge. Talk about turning left on red when you're going from a one-way to a one-way, unless there's a sign prohibiting it, okay? These are the steps for turning right on red. When you approach a red light, you're going to make the intention of making a right turn. Make sure they move to the appropriate lane. Look for and identify any signs that state no turn on red. Come to a complete stop behind the stop line. Make sure we normalize teaching kids stopping behind the stop bar or the stop line. There are many reasons why those lines are there. Make sure you talk to your kids about those reasons. Find the traffic pattern. Make sure they know who is going where. Which lanes of traffic currently have the right of way? Will that traffic interfere with my right-hand turn if I make a right on red? Look to your right and check your path for travel for obstacles. Are there parked cars? Is there stopped traffic right after we turn? Make sure you look ahead through the turn where you're going. You're going to look for pedestrians, parked cars, stopped cars, cyclists, animals, etc. When the students are making a right turn, we always teach them turn from the right lane to the right lane, the closest lane. However, there might be a time when you will not want them to turn into the closest right lane. If you are making a left turn quickly, if that travel lane is blocked, if that lane merges over to the left quickly, then those are times when, if that left lane is clear, you'll make a right into the left lane, into the leftmost lane, and that's going to be your best move.